Cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to, well, that didn't work's L5R. That's what I'm just deciding to call it right now.
I quit.
We have a really...
Live at 5.
We didn't vote on this.
No, we didn't. I'm taking charge. This is my show
That's
now.
what it is.
I'm really excited about the overall session we have for you guys tonight. We're going to be here for about 3 hours, hanging out with you guys live on YouTube and Twitch. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notifications from us on YouTube, so that you don't miss anything we put out. We put out a lot of stuff on the video platforms. On YouTube specifically, we've been putting out some really cool tutorials on how to make modular terrain, which we're really excited about. A lot of that terrain is going to be included in our Dungeons and Dragons game coming up next, well, I guess in 2 months, in August. And we're really excited about that game. I cannot wait to unveil the character I'm getting to play after a long and arduous process of probably 30 characters created and killed.
42 characters later.
Well, he wrote a backstory.
But I
submitted
finally
it.
have written a backstory, submitted it to the DM, and I'm no longer allowed to change. Other than that, we also have a new Star Wars game that's going to start in August, and we want to show you a quick teaser for that right now.
Oh, I gotta hit a button. Hold on.
Well, you were supposed to be... Man, I'm really excited about Galactic Youth. That's going to be a really fun game. And actually, now that we're here, Rick is going to be DMing our Dungeons & Dragons game, and Mike is going to be game mastering the Star Wars game. So Legend of the Five Rings is all they're giving me anymore. I guess I wasn't a very good. No, I'm kidding.
We haven't had enough TPKs yet.
That's
not
right.
enough.
But I have a feeling that the Silent but Deadly is so entertaining. That
we may see
that's
some
probably
returns of that. Yeah. If you've been watching the Silent and Deadly, thanks so much for doing that, because it's a lot of us laughing, and it's really hard to hear anything that's going on.
It's fun. Yeah.
But it's been a really good time. We hope you guys are enjoying all of the content that we're putting out. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. And without too much further ado, I do want to say one more thing. Congratulations again to Sear and Brett with 2 T's for winning our dice towers. We've already heard from one of you guys on the color of dice that you want, but just shoot us a message through Patreon, which are already members of, to let us know what you would like, as well as addresses, so that we can get all of that to you as quickly as possible. So we're excited for both those. Thanks so much for donating on Patreon. If you would like to join in on that, go to patreon.com/notworkingcrew, and you'll be able to join on any of the available tiers of giving. And next week we're starting to post, that was a really weird way to say next, actually this week, so in 2 days from now, we're going to start posting the Savage Worlds Alice for Patreon only, for the next year. Basically in a year we're going to release all of that to whole public, but you get a year of content delivered directly to your Patreon for Patreon subscribers only. And that game has been a blast. Jason, who used to be in our L5R team, has been running Savage Worlds Alice, and he is doing a fantastic job of taking us down a crazy, maddening journey through the rabbit hole. It's been really good. And so we hope you'll join us over there for that. If you want a sneak preview of what that's going to look like, the first episode is already on our YouTube and podcasts. So you can just kind of hear what the characters are and how we're operating. Spoiler alert, Dover, the dog, gets a voice around episode 3 or 4. And it's pretty interesting.
It gets much better than the first episode. It does.
I'm confident that the first episode was good.
It was good, but it's Alice in Wonderland.
It is.
What do you expect?
It is.
Once you get in the rabbit hole, things really liven up.
That's right. So now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Legend of the Five Rings. Last time, guys, you were in several different zones doing several different things. You, Isawa and Kikita, you guys went to help Lord Akoto, and in that process, you encountered Griot Rico, who is a Ronin trying to create his own clan called the Wolf, from a group of other Ronin. He's got about 400 samurai plus peasants on his kind of side already. And in the process of your conversation with him, he was leaving to go to Kyudenhida to gather some crab troops to bring them back to Oiku and Toshiranbo to protect against some of the Shadowlands beings that had begun to crop up there. Meanwhile, Lady Utaku and Miramoto, you guys did some investigating inside of Toshiranbo and wound up finding like some shady spiritual figures outside of some shrines. Utaku, you found that, while Miramoto, you got to know a pretty interesting guy, Ikoma Dendaru, who has been quite entertaining so far, to say the least. I really like him as an NPC, and I hope you guys do too. And then once you all four were back together, you went into the magistrate's office, found that both magistrates were under some strange control from somebody known only to you as the Woman. And once you left her presence, you forgot kind of everything that she looked like, and everything about her, except the fact that she is female and in some way, shape, or form resembles Dragon Clan like vestments. But beyond that, your memory of her is entirely like snowy, I described it last time as like shifting sand. And that's kind of all you're able to gather about her right now. We ended, you also like summoned an ancestral spirit from a wakizashi that was made from a sort of compound of steel and obsidian. And purified obsidian. I should clarify that for anybody coming in for their first time to this particular live session. And after that, Miramoto looked for the direction of Tagashi, using Lord Tagashi's insight, and you saw an image of two koi, one split in half and the other laying down. And you guys went to the pond area of Toshiranbo to find a dragon Yoriki split in two by some massive weapon, and a unicorn Yoriki nearly dead. And I believe last session I ended by saying you guys took her back to the inn. I'm going to retcon and say you're still at the pond.
No, I don't think we did. I think you left us there.
Well, in the recording, like in the podcast recording, I cut it off because I knew I was going to retcon it and say you're still there.
Okay.
But I think like for the live and probably for YouTube as well, it's still kind of included because we do those more raw. But I'm going to retcon and say you're still at the pond.
Okay.
At this time. And we're going to open up on that scene. And it's kind of like this whole time, there's been this mist that's kind of been kind of a misty fog that's kept this entire area just surrounded and closed off from everything else. Like you can't really see much further than about 20 feet in front of you at any point in time. And so you're also concealed from other prying eyes as it is.
That's inside the city and outside.
Yeah, that's
the city.
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's more of a weather condition than it is like anything magical or mystical. But
Thanks for spoiling it.
Well, I mean, you don't actually know anything, but it can be viewed more accurately as like a weather condition. Whether it was
Now I'm in my
on,
wheelhouse. I don't know much of anything. All right.
That's fair. So you've got this darkened space in front of you where you can barely see. You can't even see the other edge of the pond where it meets the wall. That's how obscured your vision is right now.
What time of day would we be?
I think you're kind of approaching late afternoon to early evening.
Okay.
At this point. And in front of you, kind of in the immediate circle, you see a ripple begin to come up from the pond. Now you were able to flip over Utaku Yunji, or Yunju, is that right? Utaku Yunju, you flipped her over, and while you're not able to like bring her to consciousness right now, she is stable for the time being, but she is bleeding quite a bit. The water begins to ripple nearby where you all are, Who all has like feet in the water? Somebody had to get in to flip her over.
Oh,
and I imagine that it would be
me.
you.
Yeah,
I imagine it would be her best friend.
Yes,
based on your advantages.
yes. I thought she was on the outside. Good.
No, she was face down in the pond when you guys got there.
Then yes, I'm
cool. So you're in the pond. Is anybody else in with her?
I'll go in to help, man.
Okay, so Kakita's in. Do you guys want to be kind of looking at the dragon?
I would. That's who I would be
Okay.
looking.
And Isawa, are you like yucky? No, keep my.
They're both together though.
They're near each other.
I am not a crane, sir. I'll be over helping Miramoto.
Okay. I think between the kind of two teams, you guys can make one check each. Not one check per player, but one check per pair. And so one person can be assisting the other. And what I believe that means is you get another black die to throw in and keep.
That's fitness.
So, what do you want to be doing? So you've flipped her over.
Well, I'll be getting her out of the water.
You don't have time to do that before what I'm about to do to you.
And we would not touch the body.
Interesting phrasing. Yeah.
Interesting phrasing, and then he asked me what I want to do, and then told me I can't do
So
it.
you've got this is like in the split seconds before, like you see this water rippling
I'd like to have a tea ceremony.
away from you.
Using some koi pond water tea.
In the split seconds before something else occurs, you have a chance to
Then I'll
notice something specific or something like that.
If something's rippling right there and she's unconscious,
You're just going to draw your sword.
draw my sword and
Okay.
make sure I'm interposed between.
Okay, cool. So Kakita, do you want to do anything different? So his action, or Lady Utaku's action, is to draw sword. So there's not really a check associated with that. You've got sword drawn. Easy peasy. So you wouldn't have any assistance, but is there anything you want to do check-wise? Like, is there anything you want to try to spot before I move into the very next thing?
We see we saw rippling in the water. I want to check and see if that's the only rippling in the water.
Okay, great. Go ahead and make a... I don't have a character sheet in front of me, but I think it would make sense to do like a survival.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, survival and water makes the most sense, I think, because you're in the water.
Sure. Oh, it's just ring dice are the white ones, right, or the black ones? I forgot.
Ring dice are the black
Black
ones.
ones. Okay, so that's the right one. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a month since we've touched
Yes, it
Legend of
has.
the Five Rings.
Okay. So I got a success and an advantage.
Excellent. That is the only rippling in the water, and
Okay.
you can tell that it's not the water rippling. With the opportunity, you can tell that it's kind of the space and air around the water making this rippling appearance.
So like something's walking on the water potentially.
No,
breathing?
it's not directly the water. It's almost as if the space in front of you is like a curtain, and that curtain is being pressed.
So it's more like the air is shimmering as opposed
Yes.
to the water bubbling.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So Miramoto and Isawa, you guys don't see that, and there's not time for Kakita to tell you that. So what do you guys want to be doing yourselves? What would you be doing in this situation?
I would probably be trying to figure out a way to get the dragon Yuriki out of the water without touching the body.
Okay. I mean, calling the silent ones would be the easiest way to handle that.
Yeah.
So, you do see the rippling. You did see that. You just weren't able to like perceive that it's not actually the water. If that makes sense.
Okay. Can I guess if I saw the weird shimmering, I would also be interested in what actually cut her or cut him in half.
Okay.
If I could tell.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a martial arts weapons, like a martial arts melee check.
Okay.
To investigate the wound quickly. Target number is going to be 2 because you're trying to do it very fast. What ring would you like to use?
I'm going to
with
use
that?
earth because I'm trying to recall what weapon I think might
You're
have
trying
caused
to
it.
maybe trying to more zone out. I think the better way to say that would be like you're zoning out the other things going on to try to pinpoint that thing. So you're trying to focus. Isawa, is there anything you want to do separately?
I don't believe so. I don't think that there's really a whole lot that I'd be doing in this situation
Okay.
other than just
You just kind of
kind
came in
observing.
to be available to help.
Right.
Okay.
You say all I needed was 2?
All you needed was 2.
Okay, well, we'll just take the 2. 2 6. I got more than 2, but I'll take 2 success with an opportunity.
Okay. To you, it looks like the fabric, what you can see of the fabric of his clothes, have been ripped. Not bitten, not sliced, but literally ripped. Like when you kind of take a t-shirt and rip it off. If you ever seen like maybe wrestlers do that or something, it looks like that. His skin looks the same.
Like it was
He
ripped
looks like he was ripped
in half.
in half.
That's disturbing.
And right kind of at that moment where you guys see that the rippling intensifies quite a bit. And so Utaku and Kakita, you guys are staring right at that. Utaku because you're defending, Kakita because you're examining. Miramoto, you're looking at these wounds, and so it's kind of out of the corner of your eye you see that intensify. And I think at this point you notice that it's not just the water, but even elevated from the water.
Now, would my opportunity give me could I shout something using my opportunity?
I don't think so, because this all happens very quickly.
Okay.
So you see this, and Isawa, because you're kind of looking all around, maybe even looking for guards that you can call over. As you turn, you see 12 shadowy figures standing kind of surrounding you guys with swords drawn.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
right as you see those, you kind of hear in the back of your mind, you hear your dad shout your name as if from behind you.
I am immediately going to turn around. This is not something that I would be expecting at this point.
Yeah, and from that rippling, you see kind of the pond water tear with like almost a whip of fire starting from kind of the center of the pond and jutting out toward where you are, going right in between the two downed Eureki and splitting to like almost hold those shadowy figures in place, and a sort of opening cracks open in the pond. Like the water's not falling into it. It looks like some kind of fabric has been separated entirely. And as you look into it, especially, I think everybody kind of at this point, you're startled enough, like you see the fire reach up and grab these clearly like shadowy, maybe even Oni figures. I think they're too wispy to tell really what they are. And then you look back at this sort of rift that's been created, and you look through, and it looks almost exactly identical to the Toshi Rambo you're in now. Only there are lots of people inside. Like, and when I say lots, I mean lots. Hundreds of people inside this version of Toshi Rambo.
So our perspective is like from above the city, or
Yes.
Okay.
Well, your perspective is as if you are a reflection in their pond.
So the pond is
So
full
you're
of people.
you're
basically.
you're almost looking up into a new scene.
Okay. So they're at the koi pond, and it's full of people.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're like walking around like normal.
Right. It's just
Very, very inquisitive wise. Father?
Nothing
Isawa
answers.
Samason?
Nothing answers.
And I'll look very puzzled to everyone else that's around me.
The Dark Samurai take a step forward. They're struggling against this flame, but they're still moving toward you.
And he's the only one that sees him. We all see the dark side.
You all see them. And Utaku, if you like looked around, you would recognize these as the same figures you saw while you were inside the shrines looking out.
Okay, and has the bubbling or the
The
they
rip-
know it as the
the
shimmering.
rippling-
I recognize. I look at it as rippling, but
The-
is it stopped?
The rippling ended when the fire shot out.
Okay. Now there's a more obvious threat.
Can I make a theology check and see if I can identify what these characters are?
You can. They're going to take several steps toward you in the time it would take you to think about that.
Okay, because the problem that I have is commune with the spirits is a ritual. It's
Right,
not.
you don't have
it's
time.
a downtime action.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
don't have time.
So
This is a tense moment to moment to moment situation. The thinking should happen after.
I'm going to walk out of the water, stand in between myself, stand between the group, and then put my hand on my sword and just say, who's first?
Also, how close are we to the stables?
Far away. Other corner of the city.
Okay. So too far for a whistle. Got it.
Yes. They take another step.
Yeah. I will make sure she's floating on her back, but make my way towards out of the pond.
Okay.
Isawa, what are these things?
I do not know.
They take another step. They're in range 1 of everyone now.
So I am going to do basically a hasty, so a fire and theology.
Okay.
To
Okay.
see if I
Make a
can
really
identify
fast
some-
roll. Okay.
Right.
I think you make this roll. They're going to be able to take a swing at you.
I'm going to as he's doing that. I'm going to engage.
And I'm
Hang on. Let this happen, and then we'll roll initiative if we decide we need to do that.
Gotcha.
So I have 2 success, a threat, and an opportunity.
And you're rolling fire.
Yes.
So you don't know what they are. But as you follow this line of flame, you do recognize this particular invocation. Or this end of it, anyway. You don't know of anything that can rip holes in reality. But you recognize this kind of defensive guard as something that your dad did often. Like, this is something he practiced in. He would do it to the, like, test dummies and stuff in the practicing rings and things like that. And so you follow this line, like, in recognition. And as you get to where they are pinning these shady figures, you see this purple void eyeball right in the center of their chest, where each of these kind of flaming tendrils is trying to push them back. And
Okay.
of course, this would, because like I said in the last episode, when you see pieces of what you witnessed with the woman, you recognize them immediately, although you can't remember them all the time. When you see this, you remember immediately that this is the symbol that was on the Mons that the magistrates, both the Emerald Magistrate and the Crane Magistrate, were wearing. And Miramoto, you would recognize this as the symbol that was on the ankle of the peasant that attacked you.
Okay.
And you get attacked.
Fair enough.
That's okay.
No, I told him if he takes time to make
Well,
this check, he's going to take a hit.
And that's why I was saying, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I would stop while he does that if they're just
You're
moving.
further away.
Okay.
He's like on the edge of the pond.
Okay, I was misunderstanding the distance.
Basically, they
problem.
moved into like range 0 of him. Everybody else was dealing with bodies in the pond, and you had moved specifically between Utaku's body and the ripple, which was further into the pond.
Gotcha.
So you were even further away. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will not keep those, but we'll roll in this explosive. 5, 6 successes.
Ouch.
Yep. It's a big dang hit. That is going to be Katana's 4 or 5 base.
I want to say it was
4.
I'm pretty sure it's
4.
4. So 10 damage coming your way.
All right. I do have a physical 1 and supernatural 3 on my sanctified robes.
Okay, supernatural 3 will block.
Okay.
So you'll take 7 damage instead.
That hurt.
Yep. What is your fatigue at?
1.
You have 1 left. Okay. So as they cut at you, you don't, of course, like the way that wounding works in Legend of the Five Rings, you don't actually take a wound, right? This is narratively you defending or moving or swaying in some way, shape, or form. And so it can almost even be like you've recognized this flame so much that you almost use it to your advantage and kind of twist it around the sword. Being a Shugenja, you kind of can do some narrative hoopla like that.
Okay.
You don't have the power to like invocate like that, but just narratively, I'm cool with it happening. So it's almost like you move under and through this line of fire that's connected to this thing in order to dodge out of the way. And as it kind of swings past your arm, you see that it's kind of transparent. So like when you're far away, it looks entirely black. But when you're close, it's almost like you can't even see it.
Okay. All right. Is it just me that they're engaged with now, or are they close to Rick as well?
They are
Or, sorry,
ranged
Miyamoto.
up too.
Yeah, he moved up. So Kakita's up there with you. You're both at range 0. They're both at range 1. So Kakita and Isawa are range 0. Utaku and Miramoto are range 1. And you hear your father call to you again from inside that rift.
I'm gonna. I'm obviously I'm kind of taken back by what just happened, so I'm gonna step back more like I'm going towards the rift
Okay.
and
So you
step.
kind of take a step into the water.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody, you guys sound like you want to fight these things, which I think is a bad choice, but if you would like to roll initiative, you may.
I'm not sure what other option we.
Indeed, yes, initiative.
Roll it up. Roll a target number 1 tactics check.
All right. Do not have tactics, but we'll do some fun stuff here. We'll do fire. Why not?
I mean, I don't want to fight them. They move first.
They are demon creatures. They have a tendency to be aggressive.
Ah, you hear that? Information.
I mean, if you couldn't tell that that's what they were already, then you might be playing the wrong game.
I'm out.
Let me try to get this notepad. I'm going to make some noise here. All right. Who finished their initiatives? Kakita, how'd you do?
Got 3 successes.
3.
One of them was from a strife. I'm using fire, so strife counts as success for me.
Also,
So it's
you get
focus,
to
right?
use your focus.
Yeah,
It's,
add your bonus
Force of fire.
successes to your focus.
Okay. So it's 2 bonus successes then for me.
Okay. And what was your focus?
My focus is 5.
Okay, so 7 total. And then Isawa.
I've got 1 success, 1 opportunity, and I'm in Earth stance.
Okay. So what is your focus?
Sorry. 4.
So 4 is your total. Miramoto, how'd you do?
11 successes.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow.
Why?
I add it to my focus, right? I had.
Okay.
Okay, 11
That's your
altogether.
total.
7 is the it's 7 successes.
Okay, and then plus your, so 7 plus what's your focus?
4.
Okay, so you add your bonus successes. So it's target 1, so you would add 6 to the 4, so 10.
It's in 10 total. Okay.
And Lady
Of
Utaku.
course, I took some strife.
It's only going to be a total of 5.
Okay. Wow. I wasn't necessarily ready for y'all to fight these guys, but coolio. I like that
Well,
you're
we don't
tenacious.
really want to fight them, but
I gave you literally a doorway out
to jump into
to a
the
peaceful version of this city, and none
All
of
I
you
understood
took it.
that was that's a demon
I went that
doorway.
direction.
No.
I
I'm
mean,
not fighting
you-
them. I just we'll see.
Okay, so I'm going to say this is a group of 3 of them. All right, so The first group of these. Oh wait, I have another group of 3. Sorry, I forgot there were 12.
No, thank you.
All right. The first group of them gets to go first.
If you didn't notice the priest say, "I don't know what the heck's going on," and step backwards, that should have been an indication.
Well,
Of course.
after you said that, he made us roll initiative, so I don't know what he said. What he was saying is
Every
I don't
other
know what y'all
combat,
are
I
ready to
pulled out
fight.
flaming katanas. This one, I stepped back in.
No, what I said was, if you want to roll initiative, I guess you can. That's a bad idea in my opinion, but if you want to, you can. That was what I said.
And tonight, here ends L5R.
Yeah, this may be a shorter campaign than what I planned, guys.
I don't know, even the priest rolled initiative.
The first group is going to go, and because Kakita kind of made that threatening statement,
I need an
they're going to go for you.
Okay.
And
I
so
know, that's what
3 of these guys converge upon you, rolling fire ring. This is going to hurt really badly.
Okay.
Oh, not as badly as I thought. That's a lot of blank and cruddy dice.
That's good news for me.
Potentially, yeah. Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes between the 3 of them. Plus this katana damage, so it'll be 11. Or no, it's bonus successes, so 9
9.
damage minus whatever armor you've got on.
Okay. Yep. My common armor is physical 1.
So 8 damage.
8 damage, yeah, which is...
That's quite a bit.
Yes, it does.
Is it your total endurance?
That is my total endurance, yes.
Okay, cool. So Kakita has been pushed backward and is just from defending against 3 people. The duelist of the group has been placed. How would you? You're not like unconscious. Mm-hmm. You're just in some way unable to act. You haven't taken any wounds, but you're just physically beat down after that. Which I think makes sense. You just went from a big battle, a big skirmish, with a bunch of ninja and stuff, to big, like, emotional struggle with the magistrates.
Yeah.
And now you're here fighting 12 shadow samurai.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, what
and
is
it was
the?
just in water too, so my clothes and my shoes and feet are
Yeah.
a little wet, so I'm not able to get kind of the right stance that I intended to. So maybe I kind of just fumble and stammer around a little bit instead of being
So,
effective.
so how is your incapacitation though? Like, what makes you unable to act?
Well, as a duelist, I'm usually doing 1 at a time instead of 3 in a bunch at a time. So maybe there's just too many coming at me to focus on one person at a time. So I'm not sure who
Okay.
the leader is, who to challenge.
Okay.
Just confusion.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Next is going to be another group of these Shadow Samurai, which is unfortunate for you guys, because the next closest person is Isawa. And so they move toward you and are going to make an attack against you. It's a lot of opportunity they rolled.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm in Earth Stance.
What does Earth Stance do?
You can't get critical hit.
I can't.
Oh, you
I
can't.
can't take a critical hit, and I can't
Nice.
have conditions put on me.
Okay. Well, that's still going to be 4 successes. So it'll be 6 damage,
So I am.
which again is reduced by 3.
I am under
Okay.
by 2.
So you're still able to act?
I'm under endurance level by 2.
Oh, okay.
I'm at -2.
I get you. I see what you're saying.
So you can't move or anything at that point.
Yeah, you're effectively out of combat capability, just from the exhaustion of defending against so many things. Okay, so because you guys are still like really fairly young samurai as far as like capability is concerned, so you also have kind of taken this sort of not a beating, but in your attempts to guard and defend yourself, you've rendered yourself unable to fight. Like you're just kind of, you have this look of confusion and distraught, like you really don't know what's going on. You've never seen anything like this, and you're hearing your father's voice, which is disconcerting.
And I'm seeing
well,
his defensive technique, and it just doesn't. Nothing makes sense right now.
Yeah, everything is kind of falling apart in your world. Next up is going to be Miramoto.
Well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound.
What a dragon saying we got there.
I'm frustrated and angry at this point. I've watched 2 of my friends go down instantly. I can't run, and I don't know any way of moving them because they're right in the middle. They're surrounded right now by these shadow things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just go, my body, I'm just going to flame on. And I instantly...
Well, you got to
become
make the
fire.
roll first before you instantly do it.
Well, that's true.
You're probably going to do it because you're rolling fire ring.
I
but
am rolling fire ring. So...
You get to spend opportunity on that too, right?
Well, I'm going to use that to mitigate some of the strife. So I just need, I basically need 3 to activate my burst effect. So I would take 1 strife.
What's the target number for the check?
The target number is 02, so I need...
The target
No,
is
target
2.
is 3.
The target is 3, and you need 2 bonuses
All right, well,
to activate the burst.
Yeah, well, I'm racking up the strife. So I was successful. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, maybe I don't. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I need. So
Yep.
I don't have to take that strife. So I took 1 strife, and I was successful. So I activated the burst effect.
Okay, awesome. So one of these guys, they're all exactly the same. So I'll just basically say once it happens once, your burst effect is going to be kind of dedicated to that person.
Okay, that's kind
that
of the
make
way.
sense?
I think that's the way it works anyway.
Yeah, well, normally you choose a target, but they're all exactly the same and don't have names or even numbers because I did not expect you to fight them. So there's no way for me to keep track of that. So yeah, that's your turn, right? That's your action.
That is my.
You can
that's
move for
that-
free.
I will move a little farther away from them,
Okay, so toward the rift.
towards the rift.
Okay. I think as you take a step closer to it, you kind of feel a hand rub your ankle. Not like out of aggression, but more like it feels curious. Kind of like when you're like at a pond or whatever, and you see like a lily pad, like something like that, and you're like, I wonder what that feels like. You kind of feel something like that. It's like a
Okay.
gentle like check on like, is this even real?
And as I get closer to the rift, do I notice anything special? I mean, it just looks like. I mean, it's not a vision. Does it actually look like it's?
Yes, and
Another
if
place?
you like look down, you see like a little girl has reached her hand into the pond on her end and is touching your ankle.
Which is a flaming. I'm
Yeah.
on fire, but
Sure,
okay,
that's okay.
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 Based on what this is, which you don't know what it is.
No, obviously.
That's okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Next is going to be what would be. So I'm going to give you guys a chance, a fighting chance here. What would be the next turn for one of these guys is actually going to. You're going to hear a shouting coming from this, and it's not like coherent shouting. It's kind of like a war cry almost, and in like a strange fit of the water, like. You see, you probably look toward it, right? Because looking is like a free action. And so, Miramoto, you maybe even just sidestep just in time to get out of the way of this, because you see 3 samurai literally dive headfirst into where you are, and they emerge like they're diving headfirst, and then they're coming up headfirst out of your end of the pond, and they land on their feet, and you see that they also have this kind of wispy look about them, and when you get close enough, they look entirely transparent as well. But they kind of give you guys a look and sort of smile, and especially at you, Isawa, one of them gives a nod, like a knowing nod of who you are, and they leap into action against these guys, and they take out an entire group of them at once. And next, we're going to shift to Utaku's turn.
Seeing that my newfound crane friend here is kind of defenseless in the middle of a group of 3, I'm going to charge that group, heroic charge that group.
Okay.
So that way I can give aid, so I can pull him away from that.
Okay. Sounds good. So go ahead and rush in and make your target number 2 melee check.
That. All right. What nice explosive hits. So I'll have a net hit of 1.
Like a one bonus?
Yeah. I have it's 1 opportunity to engage Razor's Edge.
No. So Razor's Edge lets you spend opportunity on a critical hit to increase the critical hit.
Gotcha. So what can I do?
So what was your roll?
Oh, I have 1 opportunity, 2 explosive successes, which those gave me blanks.
Okay, so 2 successes and 1 opportunity.
1 automatic for the charge.
Okay, cool. So your total damage will be 5 against them.
6. I'm using 2 hands.
Okay, well that increases the deadliness, not the damage. It takes the deadliness from a 5 to a 7. The
Gotcha.
damage is still
No,
a 4.
I forgot.
Yeah. No, it's a complicated wounding mechanic. It's
Other
wild.
sheets I have.
Sure.
That's how I designate.
Yeah.
Good.
So you'll deal 5 damage to him, which is gonna kind of wisp through one, and you notice like as they fall, they kind of take a knee and then almost like retreat into this purple eye and then vanish, and then the fire also goes away.
All right.
All right. Next up is going to be the last group of these shadowy samurai, and they're going to attempt to attack the good shadow samurai. I don't want to tell you guys what they are yet, but they're going to rush at them. Rushing is kind of a harsh word for what they're able to do. They take steps because they are still being held back by this fire. And I'll just take this time to let you guys know, if that fire wasn't here, you would all be dead. right now. It is significantly quelling their ability to roll. So they take steps toward these other samurai, and they make swings at them, but it's kind of seems like gusts of wind more than anything else to these lightened samurai. Like they take them expertly. They're not only are they defending, but it's like they almost parry and deal a little bit of damage of their own toward the shadowy samurai. And then we're gonna go to Isawa's turn, which you are
I'm below
incapacitated. Now I can't remember. Can you guys do the like calming breath action? You can't do anything, right?
You can't do anything that requires a check. I'm not sure if you can't do anything. Calming breath doesn't require a check.
Yeah, calming breath isn't a check. It's
And
more
I'm
of
at my threshold, not
right. Which so
it, I
you
don't know
can
if-
still act.
Okay.
Kikita. It's when you exceed it is when you can't. I had misinterpreted that earlier.
Okay.
So you can still act until you're over the threshold.
Okay.
Isawa, you are over the threshold. So I'll say you can make a calming breath action. I don't see why you wouldn't, because you're not dead, you're not unconscious or
So
anything like that.
What I was doing is I had kind of stammered backwards into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Basically into the gate.
Okay, so your goal is to get into the gate.
Right.
I think you can do that.
I mean, that was ultimately where I was going.
You can kind
where I
of
was
finish
moving.
that like backward movement. Now that you've seen them jump out, does that change what you want to be able to do with that?
Absolutely, it does. I'm heading in.
Now you've
Now
you
I've
now
recognized
know,
it's an actual portal, not just some
Okay.
kind of spell.
Yeah, you now know with guarantee that that's what it is. Okay, sounds good. So
And I think I will make that as a known fact to everyone else in the group that although I've not seen this magic, this is a portal.
okay.
This may be our way.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna turn and move through that shakily
Stumbly.
as it is, like, and it's extremely awkward. Like as you kind of move into it, like you're moving down and then suddenly you're moving up, and your body doesn't really know how to cooperate with that, and so it's extremely awkward getting out on the other side. And it's like you feel like you should be coughing up water, but you're not, and you're breathing clean air, and it's all an extremely disorienting situation.
It's kind of like being a teenager again.
Sure. So we're going to move from there back to the top of the order, which would be some of these Shadow Samurai.
Do I get to do an action?
So you are, I think, I
You
actually,
kinda skipped me in the round
I did
here.
skip you because, like I said, I had misinterpreted that. So yeah, you go ahead and do something,
Okay.
Kakita.
The one that attacked Asawa, I'm going to do my Yatsukat Rising Blade on him.
Okay.
See if this does anything. Okay, I got a split success, but I'm going to use my quick reflexes to re-roll 2 of these.
Okay.
See what we get.
That's better.
That's definitely better. Yeah, well, I'll take strife either way. I need to. Yeah, we'll explode this guy. Okay. Yeah, I'm still on fire, so this counts. So, no, we'll just keep those. So we've got 4 successes.
4 successes.
2 of
Okay.
them come from strife, so I do damage equal to the deadliness of my weapon. I needed 3 to activate this. So
Okay.
I got 4.
Are you
Right.
two-handing or one-handed?
It's one-handed. It's a one-handed draw.
Okay. So 5
So 5.
plus extra successes.
Nope, just the deadliness, just straight deadliness. So it's just straight
Okay.
5.
Okay, so you kind of you raise your weapon and you clash with his sword initially, and you can kind of see a gleaming on your blade as it does so, and it almost cuts through his weapon like butter, and straight up through the shady samurai, who then like wisps away and sucks back into the purple eye as previously. But yeah, you sufficiently have done that, and I think what you glean from that is that whoever created your weapon, like it still retains some level of blessing, and especially because like you've won a competition and have like earned the right to champion for somebody, you kind of get that sense from it that's kind of why it was able to do that work.
Okay.
Which is very good, very cool.
Who has the
So
Wakasashi too? You do, right?
I do.
yeah. Next up in the order is going to be a slew of these shadowy samurai, but before they go, like at the beginning of the round, you see kind of these fiery wisps that had kind of retracted, almost double up onto each other, and they're going to reach out and hold these things in place to where they cannot move. They can still take actions, but they can't move at all.
You talking about the firewall? Is
Yeah,
grabbing them?
yeah.
Okay.
The kind of fire whips that have been like pressing back.
Right.
It's almost like there's like an elongated fire arm reaching up and holding them on the chest, and now there's a second one on each of them,
Okay.
holding them back even further. And so that's going to impede their abilities quite a bit more, as well as holding them back from being able to move anymore. So they are going to take a swing at you, Kakita.
Okay.
Which there is only one of them now, or no? So you had a group on you. Were you swinging at those?
Yeah.
Okay, so Itaku took out one. You took out one. So it's down to just one guy, and he is going to take a
Group
swing
took out
at
the
you.
rest of them, didn't they?
They took out one group. There were 4 groups total,
Okay.
and so they took out one group. You've almost taken out another, and so this one is going to attack you, but he has only got 1 ring die now.
Okay.
Between the fire and the other stuff. Wow, he's still gonna get his lick in. So he is gonna deal 5 damage,
Okay. Yeah.
reduced to 4 because of your
Yeah.
armor.
Oh, you only have one armor?
Yep, just common armor. Yeah,
Yep, but that will sufficiently incapacitate you for the moment.
yes, it will.
And then we're going to move to the next round of them, who they're going to kind of try to follow Isawa, but he's kind of moved, I think, beyond where he was before, so they're actually going to come toward you, Miramoto. But they're moving, like I said, very, very slowly, and are unable. Actually, they can't move. They're stuck in place. I just said that only a moment ago. So they're not close enough to anybody to attack. The good wispy samurai are going to take some action against that group that's very full in particular, and they are going to take that entire group out very swiftly. You can see that whoever these samurai are, they're very, very capable, highly skilled warriors. And then we're going to move to Miramoto's turn.
And I'll just ask you, am I noticing a familiar fighting technique?
No.
Okay.
I am going to move up towards Kakita and try to assist him in. I'm going to try to grab him and pull him back towards the.
Okay.
I realize that'll probably put me in range.
No, that's
of-
fine. Kakita, are you willing to be pulled back, or is he going to have to make a check?
I don't think I have much of a choice at this point.
Well, you're not like unconscious. Like you can help him. You can either go like limp noodle and refuse to move away from the combat, or
Take me here.
or you can kind of help by like you're basically in a position where you can stand up and like put an arm around him or like use him as a support to move. But you yourself can't move very well on your own or do any actions.
Okay.
Kakita, it is time to withdraw. Isawa
I'll
has
let him lead
already
me away.
Okay, cool.
found a way out.
So you're going to lead him into the rift.
I'm going to.
Okay,
go
cool. And just like with Isawa, and probably even more so because there's two of you, it's extremely awkward. Going from like it's almost like you're flipping like the page of a book, like you're going from one side to the next, but you're not changing physical orientation, but your mind is changing the way it's oriented. It's like a really awkward, really disorienting maneuver.
So we're going through the mirror.
Yeah, sort of. A little bit. It's a little bit like that. And then we're down to Utaku. It's going to be your turn next.
This last one that's right here in front of me now, is it bound by the fire?
Yeah, it cannot move. If you want to attack it, I won't even make you roll because it can't move.
Yeah. I will attack it just
Yeah.
because it's right there. And
Just
it
do like a
probably-
real quick boom, boom, slash,
Yeah.
done, samurai, sheath the katana, and then...
Then go get Utaku.
Oh, you want to drag it? Well, if you want to drag her through the portal, that's going to be your action. Because that's not a normal movement.
Okay, if I can move away without them attacking.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons. There's no attack of opportunity.
I don't know. This is like the first time I saw combat in this, so that's why I want to make sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so you kind of grab her by like the armor, like the lower side of her breastplate, and drag her through the water and through the portal.
yeah.
And the other samurai kind of look at you like, yes, that's the right thing to do. And then they, as you're kind of walking and looking back and backing through, again, very awkwardly through this rift, you see them like handily tank these other guys. And as they do, kind of behind where they had appeared initially, another group appears
Okay.
and begins charging forward because they're not blocked by the black or by the fire, and they are attacking with ferocious, aggravated aggression toward these like light-based samurai, and they're gaining some significant ground. They're trying to get through this rift, and these samurai holding them back, and the rift begins to close, and you see the fire kind of turn to smoke, and it gets to the end of the pond, and they were left on the other side. And you get a definite sense that if they lose that fight, they will be entirely forgotten. And that's where we'll end this session.